Real good. See him catch up with him. Just let him know, I'm here. I'm excited to, see him keep going, and he's going to continue to, make plays with Cleveland. He's a good quarterback, and so I'm excited to have him as a friend.
Cam Ward just broke his silence after watching Shedeur Sanders make Browns history against the Titans, and what he said about Kevin Stefanski's offense is about to shock the entire NFL. After Shedeur became the first rookie quarterback in Cleveland Browns history to throw for over 300 yards in a game, Cam Ward had to respond, and his comments reveal he's feeling the pressure of being compared to a fifth-round pick who just put up better numbers than him. Ward admitted it's about time, honestly, when asked about his own performance, then gave Shedeur a backhanded compliment, saying he's a good quarterback and I'm excited to have him as a friend. But here's the devastating part. Ward revealed his offensive line stepped up and is the reason why we won the game, while Shedeur was making history behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. The stats don't lie. Shedeur threw for 300-plus yards with 4 touchdowns while being pressured on nearly every play. And now Cam Ward is desperately trying to justify why he was the #1 overall pick when Shedeur is proving he got robbed out of $53 million, according to analysts. This press conference exposes the real difference between a system quarterback who needs everything perfect and a generational talent who makes history no matter the circumstances.
This thing, man, this Cam Ward.
Moving him off his spot in the run game. And then, in the passing, I think they did an unbelievable job. He's a great player. And I think our O-line, they stepped up. They were the reason why we won the game.
What was the thought process coming in and just trying to establish the run, and how were you guys able?
Look, I need you to pay close attention to what Cam Ward said in his post-game press conference, because he accidentally exposed something massive about the difference between him and Shedeur Sanders, and it's not what you think. When reporters asked Ward about his performance and what led to the Titans' victory, listen to his answer word for word. Moving him off the spot in the run game, and then, in the passing game, I think they did an unbelievable job. He's a great player, and I think our O-line, they stepped up. They're the reason why we won the game. Did you catch that? Cam Ward's first instinct when talking about his team's win was to credit the offensive line. He literally said, they're the reason why we won the game. Not his play, not his decision-making, not his arm talent, the offensive line. Now compare that to what Shedeur Sanders was dealing with in Cleveland. While Cam Ward had an offensive line that stepped up and gave him clean pockets all game long, Shedeur was out there making history behind an offensive line that's been accused of sabotaging plays, with teammates like Joel Bitonio literally falling down on 4th-and-1 situations. Shedeur threw for over 300 yards, the first rookie quarterback in Cleveland Browns history to do that, while being under constant pressure, while having receivers who weren't getting separation, while dealing with a coaching staff that was running plays that didn't even work in practice. Meanwhile, Cam Ward is standing at a podium crediting his offensive line for the victory and acting like he did something special. Y'all, this is the #1 overall pick we're talking about. This is the guy who got $53 million more guaranteed than Shedeur, and his biggest accomplishment in this game was having a good offensive line? But here's where Ward's comments get even more revealing. When asked to elaborate on the offensive game plan, Ward said, just really, doing our base plays good, doing what the O-line loves, doing what Tony loves. He's seen it real well tonight. The O-line opened some holes for him, and that's what we got to continue to do. Continue to lean those guys in the run game. Doing what the O-line loves. Y'all, Cam Ward is literally admitting that his entire offensive success depends on keeping the offensive line happy and running the ball effectively. He's a system quarterback who needs everything around him to be perfect in order to have success. Compare that to Shedeur Sanders, who's out here making plays with nothing around him. Shedeur doesn't have the luxury of doing what the O-line loves because his O-line doesn't love anything except watching him get hit. He doesn't get to lean on the run game because Cleveland's running game has been non-existent most of the season. And yet, Shedeur still made history. He still threw for 300 yards. He still put up 4 touchdowns. He still nearly led a comeback against that same Titans team that Cam Ward barely beat. But it gets even better, or should I say worse, for Cam Ward. When a reporter asked him how it felt to finally get a win, Listen to Ward's response. It feels good to win, but winning's still hot stuff. It's a lot of flaws that we got to continue to get over. Personally, and just as a team, we just got to come next week with the right mindset. Winning still hot stuff? Y'all, even in victory, Cam Ward sounds defeated. He can't even enjoy beating a team that had one win all season. He's already talking about flaws and needing to come with the right mindset next week. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders just made history in a loss and came out of that game with his head held high, talking about faith, forgiveness, and bringing joy to his teammates. One quarterback is making excuses in victory, and the other is showing leadership in defeat. And then Ward dropped this bomb when asked about being efficient. About time, honestly. That's really all it is to it. We just got to continue to be efficient. I have to be efficient, throwing my guys open, putting it in their radius to make plays. Then just got to continue to be efficient in the run game. Lean on those guys. About time. Cam Ward is literally admitting that he's been underperforming. He basically said, yeah, it took me long enough to finally play decent football. And this is supposed to be the generational talent that went #1 overall? The Titans had one win coming into this game. One! And Cam Ward is acting like beating them is some massive accomplishment that he's been working toward for weeks. About time implies that he's been struggling to get to this point. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders walked into Cleveland as a 5th-round pick and immediately started breaking franchise records. No about time necessary, he just went out and did it. But here's where Ward's comments get even more interesting, because when the reporters started asking about specific plays, Ward revealed just how scripted and system-dependent his success really is. When asked about a big play, Ward explained, man coverage, running a runaway against man coverage is really the best thing to do, especially in the protection we were in. Bo caught a fantastic play. Ellie did the rest. He got separation on them. O-line held the blocks. We had an easy touchdown. Did you hear that breakdown? Bo caught a fantastic play. Ellie did the rest. O-line held the blocks. We had an easy touchdown. Easy. Cam Ward just admitted that his touchdown was easy because everyone around him did their jobs perfectly. The receiver got separation, the O-line held blocks, and all Ward had to do was throw the ball. Now let me tell you about Shedeur's touchdowns against this same Titans team. None of them were easy. That 60-yard bomb to Jerry Jeudy, Shedeur had to escape pressure, keep his eyes downfield, and deliver a perfect throw while defenders were in his face. That wasn't easy. That was elite quarterback play. The touchdown to David Njoku, that required touch, timing, and trust in a tight window with defenders all around. Nothing about Shedeur's performance was easy, but he made it look easy because that's what generational talents do.
I really didn't need it. I treat the wins the same. I treat the losses the same. It's always something that I have to do better. It's a lot of plays that I missed out there just from not giving my receivers a chance. And I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to do the same thing I did last week, try to get better.
Any of the snowballs from the crowd come close to connecting?
Yeah, they got me on one. I'm glad they did. At least he got some accuracy.
Now, let me tell you about the most revealing part of Cam Ward's entire press conference, because this is where you can really see the insecurity and the pressure he's feeling from being compared to Shedeur Sanders. A reporter asked Ward if he needed this win for validation, and listen to his defensive response. I really didn't need it. I treat the wins the same. I treat the losses the same. It's always something I have to do better. It's a lot of plays that I missed out there just from not giving my receivers a chance. And I just wake up tomorrow and do the same thing I did last week. Try to get better. Y'all, Cam Ward is trying so hard to act like this win doesn't matter to him, like he's above needing validation. But his entire tone says otherwise. He sounds like someone who's been reading the comparisons to Shedeur Sanders, who's been seeing the tweets about how he got drafted 160-plus picks higher but isn't producing like it, who's feeling the heat from being the #1 overall pick. I really didn't need it. If you didn't need it, why do you sound so relieved to finally have it? If you treat wins and losses the same, why does your whole demeanor change between this press conference and the ones after losses? And then Ward tries to deflect by talking about missed plays. It's a lot of plays that I missed out there just from not giving my receivers a chance. Wait, hold up. You just beat a 1-win team and you're already making excuses about missed opportunities? Shedeur Sanders threw for 300-plus yards in a loss and took full responsibility for a 2-point conversion that the coaches called even though it didn't work in practice. That's the difference between a leader and someone who's just trying to survive the scrutiny. But then Ward said something that completely contradicts everything he's been saying. When reporters brought up the defense giving the offense good field position, Ward's response was telling. Oh, it was real good. I think that's just what we need as a whole team. We haven't had that in a minute, and for those guys to come along, make plays for us, give the offense another opportunity after we have a 3-and-out, it was big for us. So the defense had to bail out the offense after a 3-and-out? The same defense that just gave Shedeur Sanders fits was bailing out Cam Ward and the #1 overall pick offense? Y'all, this is getting embarrassing. Cam Ward needed an offensive line that stepped up and was the reason they won, a defense that created turnovers and gave good field position, a strong run game with Tony Pollard to take pressure off him, receivers who got easy separation for easy touchdowns, and he barely beat a 1-win team at home? Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders had an offensive line accused of sabotaging plays, a defense that couldn't get off the field, no consistent run game to speak of, limited weapons who were struggling all season, and he still made history throwing for 300-plus yards as a rookie. But here's where Cam Ward's press conference gets absolutely fascinating, because when a reporter asked about Shedeur Sanders directly, Ward's response was, let's just say, interesting.
Well, it was real good. I think that's just what we need as a whole team. We haven't had that in a minute, and for those guys to come along, make plays for us, give the offense another opportunity after we have a 3-and-out, it was big for us. But then we just rewarded those guys with points.
How much did you need this personally? Just, I know it's a team game, but how much did you need this just to get another win and get going?
I really didn't need it. I treat the wins the same. I treat the losses the same. It's always something that I have to do better. It's a lot of plays that I missed out there just from not giving my receivers a chance. And I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to do the same thing I did last week, try to get better.
The reporter said, real good, see him catch up with him, just let him know I'm here. I'm excited to see him keep going, and he's going to continue to make plays for Cleveland. He's a good quarterback, and so I'm excited to have him as a friend. He's a good quarterback? That's the weakest praise I've ever heard. Shedeur just made Browns history, and Cam Ward's response is, he's a good quarterback? Not, he's exceptional, not, he played lights out, not, he's showing why he should have been drafted higher, just, he's a good quarterback. That's the kind of generic political answer you give when you don't want to admit how threatened you feel. And then Ward tries to make it personal by saying, I'm excited to have him as a friend. Like that's going to make people forget that Shedeur just outplayed him, despite being drafted 160-plus picks later. Y'all, Cam Ward is feeling the pressure. You can hear it in every word of this press conference. He's constantly deflecting credit to his teammates, making excuses for misplays, acting defensive about needing validation, and giving weak praise to Shedeur when directly asked. This is what happens when you get drafted #1 overall based on potential, and then a 5th rounder comes in and immediately starts producing at a higher level. Cam Ward is supposed to be the generational talent, the guy who's going to lead the Titans franchise for the next decade, but right now, he looks like a system quarterback who needs everything perfect to succeed. And the craziest part? Ward keeps talking about treating wins and losses the same and waking up tomorrow to do the same thing, but Shedeur Sanders is out here having different press conferences every week because he's growing, he's evolving, he's showing range as a quarterback and as a leader. One week Shedeur's talking about faith and forgiveness with Jerry Jeudy. Another week, he's taking undeserved blame for coaching failures. Another week, he's making history with 300-yard performances. Each press conference reveals a different layer of his maturity and leadership. But Cam Ward, he sounds the same every week. We got to be more efficient. The O-line stepped up. I treat wins and losses the same. It's like he's reading from a script instead of actually processing and growing from each experience. And when Ward was asked about his goals for the rest of the season, his answer was so telling. As a team, we want to accomplish finishing every game this season with a win. That's the biggest goal that we have in mind. And then I think just personally is playing my way of football, the way I know how to play football, the way I played my whole life, and then continue just being a gunslinger. Don't let one bad play turn to the next play. Shedeur Sanders was doubted, buried on depth charts, had to fight for every snap, and he embraces the responsibility. He wants it all on his shoulders because he knows that's what separates good quarterbacks from great ones. Look, I'm not saying Cam Ward is a bad quarterback. He's obviously talented enough to get drafted first overall. But this press conference revealed something crucial about the difference between him and Shedeur Sanders. Cam Ward is a system quarterback who produces when everything around him is working perfectly. He needs the O-line to step up, the defense to create turnovers, the run game to take pressure off, and the receivers to get easy separation. When he has all that, he can manage a game and get a win against a one-win team. But Shedeur Sanders, he's a franchise quarterback who creates production out of nothing. He doesn't need perfect protection. He'll escape pressure. He doesn't need easy throws. He'll fit it into tight windows. He doesn't need a strong run game. He'll carry the offense himself. And the fact that Shedeur made history throwing for 300-plus yards as a rookie in Cleveland while Cam Ward needed every advantage just to beat a one-win team tells you everything you need to know about who really should have been the #1 overall pick. The scouts got it wrong. The analysts got it wrong. The Titans got it wrong. And deep down, when Cam Ward is lying in bed at night after giving weak praise like he's a good quarterback, he knows they got it wrong too. Shedeur Sanders got robbed of $53 million, but you know what? He's going to make all of it back and more when he proves over the course of his career that he's the real generational talent from that draft class. And so here's my question for y'all. After watching Cam Ward credit everyone but himself for beating a one-win team while Shedeur Sanders makes history in a loss, who do you think is the better quarterback? And why did the NFL draft process value Ward's potential over Shedeur's proven production? Is Cam Ward feeling the pressure of being compared to a fifth-rounder who's already outperforming him? Drop your answers in the comments because I need to know if y'all see what I'm seeing. And if you think Shedeur Sanders got robbed on draft night and is proving it every single week, smash that subscribe button because we're going to keep exposing the truth about who the real #1 pick should have been. This isn't hate on Cam Ward. This is reality about what happens when you compare a system quarterback to a generational talent. Let's go.